Long let us give our praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua Bahashem Rakar Quadash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and Salaki had to shut the door. Yeah, man, sight and peace and salutations into the brethren that's teaching truth and sincerity. Once again, this the Lord battles just like to just like to touch on. We just gotta be more aware of things that's going on. Be more aware of your surroundings, and don't we can't show weakness. We gotta make our weakness our strength. So I'm gonna start off with this in Romans. In Romans 13. I'm gonna start at 7. And I'm gonna start at 10. It said, "Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law." Right? The Christians always coming to us. We don't love. We always preach hate. No, we preach love. We love the elect and the brotherhood. The 1/3 elect. And of course, starting first and foremost, we love the Most High and His Son. Who this world called God and Jesus. In the Paleo Hebrew, their names are Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. And it say, verse 11, "And that knowing that the time that now is high time to wake out of sleep." Right. This is high time to wake out of sleep. Not sleep like, you on the bed, but just unaware of what's going on. Not keeping up with the news of what's going on in the Middle East, because World War III. If you don't know, World War III is brewing up in the Middle East, which is prophesied in the Bible. Death, earthquakes. These are signs what the Lord warned us in Matthew the 24th chapter of His coming. So we live in the latter days. Now it's high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe it. Right, our salvation is near. So this is a time to be in a serious spirit. You gotta be. We gotta be more serious, and we really gotta, take things into account. Use wisdom in every action that we do. And every thought that we, every action we do, take account. Is this going to affect? How is this going to affect me in a good way or a bad way, or a bad way? We can't. The scriptures say being carnally minded is death, and being spiritually minded, you should live. All right. Our salvation, which the Lord only here to deliver the 144,000, the 1/3 was spoken in Revelation, the 7th chapter. And it said, "The night is far spent, the days is at hand." Right, the days is at hand. These latter days is at hand. And it say, "Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness." We must, cast off that old man that we got on us. That we purge. We must purge that old man. Because we don't want to get caught out here like the rest of like 2/3 of our nation. That's the apostles warned us about this, bro. The Lord put the Spirit on the apostles to warn us and give us understanding of these scriptures better. Of course, it's not a thing you just get in 5 seconds, but what you can understand is, look, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. You know what I'm saying? Now it say, actually the word, it said right there in Romans 13:9, it said, "For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not," it's really murder, Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any commandment, it is briefly comprehended in the saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, right? You can get that overnight. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, you can, if you're over 12 years old, you can understand those commandments overnight, you know? So what I'm saying is learning the breakdowns and stuff, it might take a little bit longer than, but for some people, but those simple rules right there, you can learn overnight. They say now back to verse 12 in Romans 13. It say the night is far spent, right? The night it's been long. This has been a long night for us, man. You never got to have one of those nights, man. Like man, this been one hell of a motherfucking night. You know, you done got drunk, you done party, you done, you had one of those like a hangover movie. You just had a crazy ass night that you can't believe that you don't even remember shit. You can't believe that just happened. And that's how this world is, and that's how two-thirds of our nation are. They having one of those hangover nights, those just wild nights. And it say, let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. Us, the elect, we don't want to keep living in that fantasy world. We're dealing with reality, reality, which is the reality of the situation is we're at the bottom of the nations right now. When the Lord told us, He ordained us to be at top because we went off. So what we must do is in fear and trembling, preach the gospel to the best of our abilities. We must preach the truth to the best of our abilities. Keep the commandments to the best of our abilities. Ask for mercy day in and day out, man. That's what we must do instead of wasting our time with these far-spent nights. We must wake up and show remorse and be in more of a contrite spirit. It say, so we must cast off that darkness. Let us put on the armor of light. Right, let us put on this truth. We learned the name. We learned the Paleo, the real Lord, ancient Paleo Hebrew name, man. Yahweh, which means He exists. And Yahweh Shah, who this world ignorantly called Jesus, meaning He delivered. Because that's what He's going to do. He's going to deliver the nation of Israel, the elect within the nation of Israel. And then within the kingdom, the rest of our nation is going to come back through, us having children. Okay? Let us walk honestly as in the day. Right, let us walk honest. That's what I was just saying. Think before you do an action. Don't just do something that's, and what I mean by that, or let's say you know how to get money a way that's not, is not appropriate. And you know what I'm saying? It might not be the time for that. Let's say you a pretty boy and you get all the ladies. Well, look, King David's son, he was known as the most beautiful man in Israel. Let's say that's you. Let's say you get the ladies, but that's distracting you from the truth. Well, look, you gotta just cut them off, man, and focus on the truth more, man. Or let's say you want to work 100 jobs, Well, look, you can't do that because you only can work one job. So, we got to walk in honesty, meaning walk in wisdom. Use wisdom in every decision you make. So it said, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, right? There's a lot of, me personally, I'm chilling out on the alcohol. Me personally, man. I'm trying to do a cleanse, man. Just think better. I noticed that shit. Like when you sober, you can think better, and you can, not, of course, there's nothing wrong with drinking, but you know, hey man, that's why it's a not in rioting and drunkenness. That's what 2/3 of our nation doing. That's what these so-called white people, the so-called white men, come from a man named Esau. Your biblical nation is Edomites. All right, that's what they promote in this wicked ass world. Not in chambering and wantonness, not in striving and envying. Right? We ain't got time to fight. If you preaching with a brother, you don't gotta envy nobody, man, or the next brother. We gotta walk in honesty, all right. But put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Right? That means to make no provision for the flesh means, just to sum it up in a nutshell, do not put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to go off. That's all. That was that saying right there. Do not make provision for the flesh. Do not put yourself in a situation. Don't shoot yourself in in your own leg. Don't load the gun and point the gun to your leg. Basically, what that's saying. Don't give up your crown, man. Do not make provision for the flesh. Do not give the flesh what the flesh want. The flesh want to drink. The flesh want to riot. The flesh want to be wicked. Don't put yourself in situation. Don't surround yourself with idols, with wanton women, with evil women, with unrighteous things. Don't surround yourself with unrighteous things and undefiled things. And defiled things. Surround yourself with righteous things and undefiled things without blemish. Let me get this in 1 Peter's. I'm gonna close. It was a short one. First Peter 5. It say 5 and 8. And it say, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is as a roaring lion walking about seeking whom he may devour. So that's why we must wake up out of sleep. And our enemy is these so-called white people, which their biblical nationality, they come from a man named Esau, the nation of Edom. The Lord sanctioned that nation gave that nation the world right now. And they got something called the RFID chip, which they promote, which is going to be mandatory to take. The Lord forbid his chosen, his nation of Israel, to not receive it. Now, if you receive it, that's death and destruction by 200 million missiles for your ass. So with that, let us give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, and double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the brothers that teach in truth and sincerity. Shalom.